Why financing is critical to selling homes in today's marketplace. Hi, my name is Ron Quintero. I've been in the business for 26 years. I've sold over 1,100 homes in my first 10 years, owned several real estate mortgage companies, negotiated over 500 short sales between 1992 to 1997. Currently am the CEO of the Debt Advisory Alliance, and we're a nationwide network of attorneys, mortgage lenders, and realtors in a collaborative effort to be able to help people with their loan modifications, and we're back to the short sale environment. So let's go ahead and just get into the presentation. First and foremost, I really don't need to tell this story. We all are experiencing it firsthand. We've gradually watched the average number of days on market for a listing continue to increase and grow. This is not a good sign. In addition to that, in the current marketplace, when properties aren't selling, we're having to see people chop prices to be able to get the home sold, which is a big mistake. In this example, $789 down to $725, down to $699, $649,000. We really mean it this time. The desperation in the marketplace just is not positive when the only thing you're doing to sell a property is chopping price. Chopping price takes no intelligence. It takes no skill. When I see a person just chopping price, what that tells me is I really don't know how to market real estate. Right now we're seeing growing inventories around the country as a result of, again, consumer demand, but then again at the same time, the number of days on market just growing and growing and growing. So you get this compounding effect of inventory. We're seeing record high number of foreclosure filings in the marketplace today. We're seeing a lot of desperation in the marketplace as well. We're seeing a lot of short sales in the marketplace. As a matter of fact, I'm from South Orange County, California. We're seeing that approximately 50% of our marketplace is being driven by the short sales and the REOs. Lender auctions are becoming more and more popular. As a matter of fact, this past weekend, I attended 2 lender auctions, and I was amazed to see the amount of activity. So when people tell me there's not much demand for real estate, I'm wondering what marketplace are they looking at. You got to ask yourself the question, is your marketing aligned with the market? There's always a market out there. It's a matter of, are you trapped in the traditional market of the past? Do you only know how to sell and finance real estate when markets are going up? Or do you know how to function when the property values are pulling back and the market's pulling back? You've got to make sure that your alignment with the marketplace then has to change, and you have to identify and target who is actually in the marketplace. In 1985, I attended my second boot camp with Tom Hopkins. And at the end of the 3-day boot camp, I went up to him and I said, Tom, listen, I really want to be a success in real estate. Give me the one tool, the one nugget, the one key, the one item I need to absolutely focus on to be successful in real estate. After a couple of minutes of silence, he says to me, Ron, and I'm sitting on the edge of my seat going, what's he going to say? Inspiration, perspiration, motivation, determination. I think he's going to give me one of these key fluffy words. And then he looks at me and says, real estate is really simple. The more ways you know how to finance transactions, the more real estate you will sell. It's really that easy. What you need to do is make sure that you focus on the financing, because it's the financing that moves the inventory. Now, I'm not just talking about financing from a lender. I'm talking about cooperative financing from the seller as well, contributing to a buy down to be able to increase the buyer pool for that property, the affordability buyer pool. Being able to participate in paying down on closing costs or assisting with closing costs. See, the main barrier to home ownership is always the upfront money, down payment, and closing costs. So any way that we could help with addressing the issue of down payment and monthly payment and closing costs, we're going to be able to increase the number of transactions we could have. Now, the second objection after the upfront down payment and closing costs is going to be what will be my monthly payments. So if we have a strategy that's addressing both issues, the down payment as well as the ongoing monthly payment, being able to lower that bar on both of those, we're going to be able to increase the buyer pool for that property. It's really simple, but most people don't focus on that. As an example, in today's challenging listing environment, good agents, when there's a property with value, need to be able to sit down with their homeowner and talk to them about possibly carrying back 10%. for a 5-year period of time of their equity to be able to find a buyer with 10% down, to be able to eliminate PMI, and to be able to get that monthly payment lower. Again, it's the financing that moves real estate. I go to open houses all the time, and I'm amazed by how many realtors simply do not get this point. I go to open houses, and they'll hand me some cheesy flyer with a bunch of fluff about the property that they're trying to sell. They don't, as an example, have in there financially convincing information like the rent versus own analysis, the cost of waiting analysis, the seller buy down strategy, the in-home marketing literature that does integrate into it the financing information. They do not, as an example, integrate the financing incentives into their MLS marketing as well. And they don't get their lender involved in getting the home seller actively involved in the process of obtaining their next financing. So you got to get the homeowner to start to mentally disengage with their current property, so this way they become more cooperative with the terms and the price of the present property. Once they start falling in love with another property, the one that they've had for the last 4 or 5 years just doesn't look as intriguing as it used to. So if you're a realtor watching this video, you need to make sure that you're implementing all 6 of these strategies every time you take a listing. With the seller buy down analysis that's provided by Mortgage Coach, what you want to be able to do is take a look at the payment and income required without a price reduction, meaning you take the current income, the current financial structure of that borrower, and without having to add a co-borrower, as an example, to increase the income, you just work with what you have to work with. And when you look at the seller buy down analysis, you got really 2 choices. You could either chop on the price, so in this example right here, the payment and the income with the $14,000 price reduction only affects the monthly payment by $65 per month. But if you take that, leave that $14,000 in place on the price. Look at the seller buy down number here. But you leave the $14,000 in place and you apply that money towards buying down the actual interest rate. The impact for the borrower now is a monthly savings of $448. So if you take the price reduction strategy, which only saves the borrower $65 per month, versus the same $14,000 being applied, just leaving it in place, listen, gang, that's a 7-to-1 ratio. That's a huge difference in the affordability of that property, which, by the way, if that buyer buys that property and lives in that property for 30 years, theoretically, you go ahead and do the cost there. See, listen, it's your overall cost of buying the real estate, not the upfront price. The financing will double, if not triple, the total dollar value of buying that property. So here's the big takeaway, gang. Focus on the seller buy down. It has 7 times the leverage for the impact for the buyer than it does versus, as an example, reducing the price. You want to make sure that loan officers that are using Mortgage Coach are running the numbers to make sure that your clients and consumers are making informed decisions. Without this information, folks, it's real simple. People are going to continue to make bad choices regarding their home mortgages. Thank you very much for your time and consideration in watching this video.